Logan Tipton, the case that changed Kentucky. A 6-year-old boy was asleep in his home in Versailles, Kentucky. His name was Logan Tipton. On the 7th of December 2015, a stranger entered the Tipton family home during the early morning hours. What happened next would destroy a family, and years later, become the center of a national debate about insanity verdicts, prison sentences, parole, and victims' rights. The man responsible was Ronald Exantus. And now, more than a decade after Logan's death, Exantus has been released from prison. The question being asked is simple. How did the man responsible for Logan's death end up back in the community, the night of the attack? In the early hours of the 7th of December 2015, Exantus entered the Tipton family's home in Versailles, Kentucky. According to reporting on the case, he attacked members of the family with a knife. Logan was only 6 years old. His father, Dean Tipton, and 2 of Logan's sisters were also attacked. Police arrived at the home shortly after the violence began, and Exantus was taken into custody. Logan, however, did not survive. His death shocked the local community and left his family facing something no parent should ever have to experience: the loss of a child inside their own home. The investigation quickly became a major criminal case in Kentucky, but what happened in court would make the case far more complicated. The trial. 3 years later, in 2018, Ronald Exantus went on trial. The prosecution and defense presented very different arguments about his mental state. The jury ultimately reached an unusual verdict. Exantus was found not guilty by reason of insanity in connection with Logan's murder. He was also found not guilty by reason of insanity on the burglary charge connected to the case. But that was not the end of the verdict. The jury found Exantus guilty but mentally ill on assault charges involving other members of the Tipton family. Those convictions resulted in a 20-year prison sentence. So legally, the murder conviction that Logan's family had expected never happened. Instead, the prison sentence came from the assaults on Logan's family members. The distinction is extremely important. Exantus was not found innocent of the events that occurred that night. The jury's finding was that he was not criminally responsible for the murder because of insanity, while still holding him responsible for the assault convictions. The Kentucky Supreme Court later upheld his convictions. The family's fight for justice. For Logan's family, the verdict was devastating. They had lost a 6-year-old child, and although Exantus received a 20-year sentence for the assault convictions, the family continued to question why Logan's death did not result in a murder conviction. That question would follow the case for years. Then came another shock. Exantus became eligible for release well before the original 20-year sentence would have expired. In October 2025, he was released from prison after receiving substantial sentence credit. The release triggered widespread anger and renewed attention to the Logan Tipton case. For the Tipton family, the pain was not simply about a prison calculation. It was about what they believed the justice system had failed to do for Logan: the Florida arrest. But the story did not end with that release. After leaving Kentucky, Exantus moved to Florida under mandatory reentry supervision. Within days, authorities arrested him after determining that he had failed to register as a convicted felon within the required period. That arrest resulted in Exantus being returned to Kentucky. The case once again became a national talking point. The questions grew louder. Should someone convicted of violent crimes receive such substantial sentence credits? How should the justice system handle someone found not guilty by reason of insanity? And what protections should victims' families receive when an offender is released? Logan's Law. The controversy surrounding Logan's case also helped drive political action in Kentucky. Lawmakers eventually passed legislation known as Logan's Law. The law was designed to strengthen protections involving violent offenders and people found not guilty by reason of insanity. One important issue was ensuring that someone found not guilty by reason of insanity could be subject to appropriate mental health and court procedures before returning to the community. But there was a major limitation. The new law could not simply be applied retroactively to change Exantus's existing sentence. That meant the legislation could change the system going forward, but it could not rewrite the legal outcome of Logan's 2015 case. The second release. Then came July 2026. The Kentucky Department of Corrections confirmed that Ronald Exantus would be released again. On the 29th of July 2026, Exantus officially left the Kentucky State Reformatory. This time, state officials emphasized an important distinction. The Kentucky Parole Board did not release him early. Officials said Exantus had served the sentence imposed by the Woodford Circuit Court. His release came because his sentence had reached its expiration after the application of credits allowed under Kentucky law. He was therefore no longer in the custody of the Kentucky Department of Corrections. And this time, according to reporting, there was no additional parole sentence keeping him under the state's supervision. The family's reaction. For Logan's family, the release reopened an old wound. Logan's father, Dean Tipton, has continued to criticize the justice system and argue that violent offenders should not be able to reduce their sentences so substantially. His position has been clear. The family lost Logan forever. The person responsible eventually walked out of prison, and for the Tipton family, that feels like a second injustice. At the same time, officials maintain that Exantus's 2026 release was not an act of parole leniency. It was the completion of the sentence imposed by the court under the laws that applied to his case. The Logan Tipton case leaves behind questions that go far beyond one courtroom. What should happen when a person is found not guilty by reason of insanity? How much sentence credit should be available for violent offenses? Should those rules ever allow someone responsible for the death of a child to leave prison after serving only part of the original sentence? And most importantly, how does the justice system balance the rights of the accused with the permanent loss suffered by victims and their families? Logan Tipton was 6 years old when his life was taken. More than 10 years later, his name has become connected to a change in Kentucky law. But for his family, Logan was never a law. He was their son, their brother, their little boy, and his story continues to raise difficult questions about what justice should really mean. This is True Crime and Scams in South Africa. If you want verified true crime stories, major criminal investigations, and important developments from South Africa and around the world, make sure you subscribe. And remember, every case has a victim, every family has a story, and every detail matters.